Welcome back to another episode of the OKC Foodcast, your guide to the food in Oklahoma. And you're joined with your hosts, Nabil
and Ashley,
and our very special guest.
Yes, this week we are joined by Erika Barenberg with Fit 405 magazine. Welcome, Erika.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
My pleasure.
So this episode will go in a slightly different direction.
Right. I think it's perfect timing.
Yeah, I think
with the new year, New Year's resolutions.
Mm-hmm. That's the most common resolution.
Right.
Oh, weight loss, get healthy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So Erika's going to give us some tips and tricks to eating not only delicious, but keeping those New Year's resolutions.
Maybe. Try. As long as you can, right?
Yeah. At least make it through the end of January.
Wow, we're very encouraging on this podcast.
We're realists. Cool. So, Erika, tell us, let's start with our Eat of the Week.
Yeah. I was like, did you forget?
I almost did.
It's a new year, I know, but...
Yeah. Well, I guess I will start. My Eat of the Week, not exactly a full meal, but it's something I enjoy so much every year. My dad is an avid deer hunter, and he processes his own meat, and this year he had over 100 pounds that he processed from 2 really large deer. I'm not really into, watching that processing process.
I don't blame you.
However, something I enjoy around this time every year is the venison jerky that he makes. It is so good, so addicting that I will end up having to floss so much from eating so much jerky, but I love it. I love it so much. So working on a bag right now.
My husband would love to try some of that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to connect with you because we have a lot of friends that like to hunt, and we had to buy a second freezer because of all of the meat that we would get.
Yeah, my dad has a giant deep freeze. Yeah. So you definitely have to.
It is a problem. Too much food is a problem, too.
Right?
Yeah.
But the great thing, so whenever I was growing up in the country, like whenever I was very young, I've told you about how we barely had to grocery shop. Like we literally went to the grocery store for Kool-Aid, sugar, flour, and toiletries. Because everything else between our farm and my dad grew every fruit and vegetable.
Nice.
Then he hunted and fished, and then my grandfather had cows, pigs, and chickens. So we got basically everything covered from our homegrown resources.
That's
nice.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Then I moved to Houston and
there's no farmland.
Was
there.
introduced to fruit roll-ups and soda, and they didn't have that stuff in the country. No, I've been raised on eating, what my dad hunts or fishes, and I love it.
Nice.
So much, yeah.
Nice.
So Erika, you want to go next? What was your Eat of the Week?
So my Eat of the Week. So as you know, I follow somewhat of a nutrition plan, and I don't eat out of that regimen fairly often. So I hadn't had brownies in 9 months.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
And I was really wanting some brownies.
Yeah.
So my Eat of the Week was just old-fashioned brownie mix from the store.
Nice.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed every bite.
Oh, yeah.
Since you are a very health conscious foodie, and like you said, you go grocery shopping for everything you're going to make that week, what's your favorite grocery store?
Okay, I love Uptown Grocery.
Okay,
I love Uptown. I mean, I'm all about like supporting local. They have a really cool process of, if you want something specific, you can just put an order form in, and they'll start carrying it.
That's very nice.
They're
that is really cool.
Yeah, so I love that. I'm always doing market research on different brands and different types of food to try for my clients.
Right.
And if I find something and I order it and I want to keep ordering it, it just makes sense to, have my grocery store start carrying it.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's my favorite place.
That grocery store is not super convenient to me. I've been there a couple of times. got my sister's birthday cake from there once, which was delicious, by the way. I wish that grocery store was more convenient to me. I go to Sprouts for the most part.
I love Sprouts.
Yeah.
There's a Sprouts next to one of the places that I exercise, and every once in a while, I'll just pop in to see what they're carrying. I love grocery stores.
Yeah.
My husband gets so frustrated because if I need to like make a quick run in the middle of the week, and hey, you want to come with me? And he's like, no, you're going to be in there for 2 hours.
Right?
Just,
Is that true?
Well, I can stay in there for a hot minute. Time just flies. I'm just walking down the aisles and I'm looking at new things that the grocery store is carrying. And I'm like, oh, look at this new peanut butter. For example, sunflower butter. I don't know if you've ever had sunflower butter.
I have.
But it's so good. And so I'll just sit there and I'll just look at all the different butters just to give you an example of why I take so long.
That makes sense. I mean, if I have time, I'll kind of get lost and be like, what's this vegetable? I haven't seen this one before.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, some kind of unique fruit or vegetable, like in the produce area, especially, different times of the year when they bring in different types of produce, what's in season.
Right.
I'm like, ooh, I haven't seen blood oranges in a hot minute.
Right. And also, so Albertsons, which is right across the street from the uptown that I go to, which is in the Village. Albertsons has a really great selection as well. For me, I focus on, when it comes to a grocery store, I focus on produce. That's huge for me. I want my produce to be fresh. And I also look at quality and price. And so for me, Uptown just crosses all three of those boxes.
Nice. Cool.
I might have to go visit that a little more often.
Yeah.
I don't go to Uptown as much. I think I've been there like a couple of times.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. So, Nabil, what was your eat of the week?
Mine, going with a grocery store theme.
Okay.
So I think 2 or 3 months ago, maybe even longer, we went to Trader Joe's for the first time. And the first time that you go there, they hook you up with cookie butter. And I don't know if they still do this, so, don't
mark
go
your
there
words.
expecting this.
Nabil said.
They hooked us up with like a tote bag, cookie butter, which if you haven't had that, it is delicious. And their Mandarin chicken.
What?
And so
Did they ask you, is this your first time here?
No,
Hold on, sir.
Well, so it was.
We'll be back with gifts.
It was really random. I don't know why I inclined to tell this cashier that was my first time at Trader Joe's. And Serena was like, why'd you even say that? I was like, I don't know. I just felt like it was, conversation. I was like, oh man, this is my first time here. It's really cool. Cause you hear about Trader Joe's and I hadn't been there yet. So I was like, oh, it's first time here. It was really cool. He's like, oh, it's your first time here. Hold on.
Code red on
and
register
he's
1.
Like,
we have a code red.
Newbie.
Yeah, I made the mistake. I did not tell them whenever it was my first time there.
You gotta make small talk.
Right.
But anyway, so he brought all this stuff out and I'm like, really? He was like, yeah, here you go. I'm like, thanks.
Wow, maybe I'll go back.
And be like, it's my first time
This is
here.
my first time. This place is so cool.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know you guys were here.
Look at the pretty lights.
And then when he doesn't give you anything, you're like, what about my chicken?
My chicken, the bag. Wasn't there some kind of butter?
Right? Isn't there something more? So it's their frozen chicken, Mandarin chicken, which you can bake or you can stir fry when you're reheating it. So we reheated this recently. It's been in the freezer for a while. And we were going to make rice with it, but I was like, you know what? I kind of want some noodles. So I stir-fried noodles, and it's something that I've been working with where, you got to boil the noodles to a certain point where they're still not fully cooked.
Right.
And so when you stir-fry them, they don't disintegrate while you're mixing in all the ingredients.
Right.
And so that kind of level, I was trying to hit
al dente.
that al dente, yeah. to the tooth.
Yeah.
So getting that right, I'd gotten close at times, but I think this time I nailed it, which was exciting.
Hashtag brag, not brag.
Right. That's right. New year, new me. What? No. So for the stir fry, I did onions, jalapenos, and a whole head of garlic.
Oh my goodness.
Which
you can never have enough garlic.
Right?
Word.
Yeah. So when I was putting this in, I'm like, Serena was like, that's a lot of garlic. I'm like,
No,
it'll be garlic noodles. What's bad about that? It'll be fine. But like once you saute everything together, it just like, you could taste it, but it wasn't like over garlicky. And some soy sauce and a little bit of sugar to kind of like balance that out, and then just toss the noodles in with that.
Yum.
And yeah, got some Mandarin chicken on the side. It was fantastic.
That sounds good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds really good.
You can invite me over for dinner anytime.
Yeah.
Done.
For sure. for sure. But no, with garlic, I always say you measure that with your heart.
Yeah. And my heart wanted a whole head. So
I say go for it every single time.
well, I was thinking about taking a few cloves, and then I was like, it's right here. Just use it.
And then sometimes once you see all that's left in the head of garlic, you're like, well, that's not even enough for another whole meal.
Right?
You might
as well use it. Yeah. And well, I think so. Her concern was because I was chopping it that you'd be able to get bigger chunks of garlic.
Oh, I'm always okay with that too.
But I don't like huge chunks of garlic.
I do.
But luckily it disintegrated, so you couldn't tell.
Nice. All right. Well, that sounds like a delicious eat of the week.
It was so good. I want to make it again.
Nice. All right, so let's jump in to our episode with Erika. So, Erika, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am newly married.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. So we just got done eloping and touring Europe for 12 days.
Wow.
Yes, and it was so much fun. Kind of hard disconnecting from, quote, work, because I absolutely love what I do every single day. It's not work to me. It's so much fun. So yeah, newly married and just loving this time of year. I enjoy the cooler weather.
Yes.
I love the extremes. I either love it really, really hot, like I love going to Arizona.
Yeah.
Or I love, this kind of colder,
Right.
this colder, snuggly sweater weather.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just kind of been me lately.
All right.
Nice.
Tell us about the Fit 405 magazine.
So Fit 405 magazine is a brand new publication in Oklahoma City. We are the only health and wellness magazine in the state of Oklahoma. We cover all of the 405 area code from the top of Stillwater all the way down to the bottom of Norman and everywhere in between. We cover everything from nutrition and recipes to mindfulness, mental health, movement, expert advice, you name it, we cover it if it's under the wellness umbrella.
As long as you can relate it back to wellness.
Right. Yeah, we do. And so
I feel like there's so many ways you can take that. So it's a topic that you're never going to run out of material.
No, we're always coming up. We're always coming up with content. But yeah, check us out, fit405magazine.com. You can read an issue there. You can also pick us up all over the metro. We're in Whole Foods. We're in the Natural Grocers and more. We're in Green Acres Market off of 240. And then anywhere you go to feel and look your best, you will find us. We also have a subscription service and an online read.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Very cool.
So I know that's not how you started in your food and fitness journey.
It's not.
How did this evolve and come to that? And I know you mentioned recipes, which I'd love to get into later, obviously, since it's about food.
I could talk about food all day long.
Oh, it's coming. We're getting all this fitness stuff out of the way.
Yeah. So I have an advertising and marketing degree. And, we were chatting before we jumped on the podcast about doing what you love for a career. And I just was never really told or taught or, I guess, influenced that you can do your passion and, do that for a living. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so I had this whole skill set of marketing and advertising, which I loved doing. And then I would come home and I would have this whole other life of small group fitness, health and wellness things. I was always doing little odd and end jobs. I just wanted to stay engulfed in fitness. So I've been in the fitness industry for 10 years. I started natural bodybuilding about 4 or 5 years ago. So I do that as my hobby. And I also promote a natural bodybuilding show called the Thunder City Showdown every spring. So yeah, I got into the bodybuilding, and then after just being in fitness for so long and being around athletes my entire life, because I've been an athlete since I was a little girl, I decided to start a nutrition and wellness company. So I started coaching people on flexible dieting. And if you've never heard of the term flexible dieting, basically it teaches people in-depth calorie counting through macronutrients, through counting your carbs, fats, and proteins. Because your carbs, fats, and proteins are made up of calories. So pretty much I would teach people how to still eat pizza and snacky foods and foods that are higher in carbs and foods that are higher in fats, but still be able to reach your goals because we're keeping it at a caloric deficit. So that's
like a math problem at the end of the day.
Yes, there's a whole equation. I mean, it's constantly evolving. There's a lot of science and a lot of thought that goes into it. But I did that for a long time, and I still do that. I have a company called 413 Fitness, and that's where I do my nutrition coaching for people. And everybody needs a nutrition coach. I mean, we have a hairstylist, we have a therapist. Everyone needs a nutrition coach, someone that can hold them accountable for their lifestyle. And then I was just doing something really mundane one day, and the idea popped in my head, you need to start a publication around all of this stuff. And I thought, where did that thought come from? And so I just kind of ignored it. But then the more, I just felt this tugging at my heart. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, Oklahoma needs this. Oklahoma needs a user's guide of like where to go and feel your best. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to create it. And with my, advertising degree and with the connections and with how just gung-ho I am, I was like, I'm going to tackle this head on. And if I don't know how to do it, I'll figure it out and I'll talk to people and I'll make it happen.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And so then Fit 405 was born. And FIT is an acronym, stands for Fit in the 405.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
see what you did there?
Yes. So Fit in the 405. But yeah, it's been so much fun. We're not even a year old and we're just busting at the seams, which is a great problem to have. We're growing. I'm actually interviewing for our team this week. And then in the next few months, we are going to expand to the 918.
Nice.
So I guess this is kind of the first time I'm making that public.
Oh, look at that.
I got goosebumps. I'm like, ooh. Yeah, so
That's
exciting.
right.
Yeah.
So it's official in 2020. We are tackling Tulsa. So Tulsa, get ready. We are coming at you. We're really excited.
That is very
That's
exciting.
awesome.
Yeah, for
We're
sure.
glad you can make that announcement here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This was not planned.
Yeah, no, it was not. It was not. Just rolled with it.
So with your clients that love eating delicious food, I know you have this kind of mathematical equation of, how many calories one can intake, or I guess it's between the protein and carbs. But what's some tips that you give your clients to eating delicious food still and still being able to eat out? How do you?
So with my nutrition company, I create nutrition plans. If you look at your day-to-day activities, we make over 200 decisions. And there are just some things that you do in life. You're like, I really don't want to think about this. I just want somebody to tell me what to do.
Right.
It's like when sometimes I wish we had uniforms to work. I'm like, I don't want to think about what I want to wear.
I know. Honestly, I was so glad when I left corporate advertising. I was like, I get to wear yoga pants every day.
That is awesome.
Yes. So that's been like one of my favorite things about my job. So yeah, we kind of want to be told like what to do. And so I create nutrition plans based on what people enjoy eating. I have this whole onboarding process where people will tell me, my clients will enroll and they'll give me all of their food likes and dislikes. And I create a plan around that.
Have you ever, sorry to interrupt, but have you ever
yeah.
had anyone that's just like, I don't like vegetables. I do like cookies. I do like potatoes. I do like pizza.
I feel like she probably gets that more often.
I get difficult eaters all the time. I'm a difficult eater. I was born with an autoimmune disease, and the doctors were trying to figure it out, and they started with my nutrition. And so I grew up just being a picky eater because of that. Foods weren't really introduced back into my diet. So I totally get it. And I also deal with diabetics. I deal with people that have Hashimoto's. I deal with vegans, vegetarians, all different eating styles. And it's a lot of fun to get to create plans for everybody that have different eating styles. But to answer your initial question, when people learn their macros and they can learn how to eat within the confines of their macros, they understand how to make choices when they're on their own. My plans, we start at 12 weeks, which is 90 days, because it takes at least 90 days to make a lifestyle. And then we go on to 3 months, 4 months, and then 5 months. And after you've been on my nutrition plan for a while and you've kind of flown the coop, your body just naturally starts to gravitate towards the foods you've been putting in your body. And a lot of times when you detox those foods, like the sugars, the fried foods and things like that, you don't crave them anymore. And so whenever they're going out to these
detox,
you gotta go cold turkey.
Yes. So when you go out to these restaurants, your body's like, I just want like a really big salad, which obviously for a side note, it's not always the best option to get a salad.
Sometimes those salads have so many calories.
They have way more
It is
calories.
surprising.
I know. But salads are very nutrient dense and a lot of them have protein in it. And when your body is craving those things, it's like, oh, that's kind of just what I want to eat right now. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
But then I also coach people to loosen the belt and to live an 80-20 lifestyle. 80% of the time, you're putting, like I said, nutritious foods in your body. You're somewhat measuring and counting your macros. We have a scale at our house. You're weighing your food or portioning it out somehow. And the other 20%, you are just enjoying yourself. I give my clients a splurge meal every week. And, some people are like, oh, just one splurge meal? You mean you can't just eat whatever you want all the time? But the thing is, whenever I create nutrition plans, I can add in hamburgers, I can add in pizza recipes, pasta recipes, so that you're not really craving anything outside of your nutrition plan. And so whenever it comes to that one day, that one splurge day that week, people usually will go out on a date night or, go out to eat with their family, and that's their splurge meal. But throughout the week, following their nutrition plan, it was full of texture and spice and variety.
Nice.
that makes sense.
So when you're making these plans, you're not just telling them, hey, you can only intake X number of calories, but you're telling them how to intake those calories.
Correct.
So you're giving them recipes and you're kind of being like, hey, here's like your playbook.
Right.
Go grocery shop and make it happen.
Yeah. So I do all the heavy lifting, no pun intended. And I come up with the macronutrients and the recipes. They just have to go to the store and cook the recipes and eat it. So I follow people's lifestyles. If you say, well, I'm a stay-at-home mom and I really enjoy cooking, so I want something more ingredient heavy, I can come up with recipes all day long. Maybe you work remotely and you're constantly driving and you need something kind of quick on the go. I can do that too. So it goes by your lifestyle. I believe that your diet should fit your lifestyle, not you fit a diet.
Right.
Right.
So,
and which is probably easier to keep with.
Right.
Too, right.
And I'm assuming too, because I know, and this could be very well a myth, but people say, when they're dieting that, everything gets way more expensive. But I'm sure you can work around that as well, keeping it budget friendly.
100%. And again, that is kind of a myth. And it also goes by where you grocery shop.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can we mention brands and
Absolutely.
things like this? Okay. I don't shop at Whole Foods because I can find better deals at other grocery stores. Whole Foods is literally like a mile from my house. But I know that I could find better prices elsewhere. Aldi is actually beating Trader Joe's for having the fresher produce.
Really?
Yes.
They started as one store. Fun fact.
No, I did not know
in
that.
Germany, yeah.
Yeah.
They were
Wow.
brothers.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
so-
I have always thought Aldi had pretty nice produce. Unfortunately, I don't have one of those near me, but when I used to, I would start there for my grocery shopping, and what I couldn't find there, then I would go to Sprouts, or there's a couple of nice crust locations as well that I like.
Well, then you also have to think about the food itself. You know, what's filling. Vegetables are very filling, and whether you buy them fresh or produce,
Frozen produce.
frozen produce,
Produce.
frozen produce.
I like it.
Froduce, yeah. So
We
whether
should introduce that.
let's do it.
Done. Let's come up with a brand called Froduce.
We'll name this episode Froduce with Erika.
I think I'm getting tongue tied because I had caffeine right before it came, because I was like, guys, I want to be talkative, so I had a lot of caffeine, and now like my mouth can't keep up with my brain. So yeah, I think that a lot of times people they think that by purchasing foods that are not quote healthy, but they're a lesser, more affordable option, that's going to save them money. In all actuality, maybe they need to be just choosing foods that are more nutritious and filling.
Nice.
Now, is fresh produce always better than frozen?
Well, that kind of depends on who you ask. I think, on the spectrum of dietitians and nutrition coaches and all these people that are doing this for a living, I think a lot of people really focus on, there's some people that focus on the nitty gritty, everything from like the pesticides that are, intermingling with your fresh produce to preservatives. For me, again, I just kind of go with what's affordable. I prefer fresh produce when it comes to like my leafy greens. And then when it comes to some of the stuff that I bake, like my green beans, I prefer frozen.
Yeah. And I feel like even with the frozen vegetables, like as long as there's no sauces or anything on them, I mean, it's basically just the vegetable frozen. So I don't think they add anything to that, right?
I don't think so either.
I'm sure they add some stuff to preserve life,
Right.
to a certain extent, but it's definitely
because when we had a garden, we would freeze stuff and we didn't add anything to it.
But you're going farm to freezer.
Yeah.
I feel like that's different than going farm to factory.
So do you
to
think there's
grocery store
like
to
a
home.
list of
Very
ingredients? Like if you got a bag of frozen peas and carrots, do you think on the list of ingredients it's going to be more than peas and carrots?
I think it'll say something more than just peas and carrots.
All
I
right.
think I could be wrong.
I'm like
I've never,
interested
like-
to check this out now.
Yeah.
See why I spend so much time looking at labels and
Yeah.
just wondering
I'm actually
wandering around the
curious now,
grocery
too.
store?
Yeah.
Yeah, whether this is correct or if it was just in my head that they
Right.
have to add something to make it last longer.
Yeah, I don't know. Because same thing with fruit, like frozen fruit. I buy frozen fruit a ton for smoothies.
Yeah.
And
I do too.
I like doing fresh kale with whatever frozen bag of fruit I got, and plain Greek yogurt.
And it could also depend on brand, right?
Yeah.
I think it's different to
True.
different people's
Like-
processes on what they put in.
Yeah,
And
I
like
wanna
if your
look at
frozen
that
fruit
now.
has sugar added to it,
oh no,
which
I wouldn't get that.
some brands probably do to make it sweeter. Like,
Yeah.
I think the only time you can really follow the types of things we're talking about is with canned vegetables and canned
Oh,
fruit.
now canned stuff definitely
Oh, yeah.
they add
Right.
stuff
Yeah.
to
Right.
it.
yeah.
That stuff sometimes just it baffles me.
It baffles me.
Yeah, like canned meat, like when people like I know it's
Spam.
I have a real like
I've never experienced spam,
feeling
so-
with like canned chili, like there's ground meat in that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I mean, as much as I love Hawaii and Hawaiian culture and all that,
Right.
I have never experienced spam, and I don't think I have like an inclination to do
You've
so.
never had it?
Nope.
Oh gosh, I definitely have had it. Like I say growing up in the country, but my dad likes fried spam with mustard.
I think
on
that's an
white bread.
I think that's an Okie thing.
We're
It's
from
got
Texas.
well, or maybe a southern,
Maybe a southern
thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You've
if
heard of
you've
people
never,
doing that.
yeah, if you've never had spam, you have to get this like on camera trying it,
Oh,
and that could be your most interesting thing you've ever tried.
That's a good idea. We should do that.
I feel like I should lead a little more exciting life
let's-
than
let's-
spam being the
let's-
most interesting thing.
That's true. Good point.
But maybe we do an episode where that's your like
My eat of the week is spam.
Not eat of the week, but we're gonna do it on air where you pick something for me, I pick something for you that I've never had, and something you've never had.
That's so cool.
That
I'm gonna pick
seems like
gross.
something that we wouldn't typically like. Don't go too crazy.
Yeah, play nice.
Play nice. I mean, I was going to go spam for you, but we'll see. I'll have a backup plan just in case. No, that would be fun.
That's funny. So, we talked a lot about ingredients and things that are in your food and caloric intake that relate to that food. What are some, it's the new year. Everyone's trying to focus on it. And hopefully people's focus lasts longer than a few weeks.
Right.
But what are some key takeaways or quick tips that you can give people? And you might not have quick tips because there's no shortcut to health. What's something that they can use to stick with this longer than what they might have done last year?
Get an accountability partner if you don't have one. Like I said, everybody needs accountability in life. I even have an accountability partner. I even have a coach. Coaches need coaches. Mm-hmm. So get an accountability partner if you don't have one already. Someone that when you're not feeling it today, you can text and be like, it's just not happening today. I don't want to move. As far as exercise goes, I just am not into going to the
or
gym.
Or move at all.
Yeah, or move at all. I just want to lay with my dog on the couch all day. We all have those days, right? And that's okay. I do want to preface that it is okay. If you are having a day where you're like, I just want to have a cookie, and you haven't had a cookie recently, have a cookie. It is okay. Don't put so much pressure on yourself.
We don't have the whole box.
Right.
Not the whole box.
I'm like, I just heard it's okay to have cookies.
Yeah, I know, right? And that's where it stopped.
Well, back to Uptown, you can go to some grocery stores such as Uptown and you can purchase in their bakery, you can purchase one cookie and you're like, I haven't had a cookie. I've been kind of craving one today. Buy one cookie, not a whole box. Right?
I think that's where the trouble is, right? Because of the boxes there, that temptation lives.
Yeah.
Well, and that kind of segues into my tip number 2. If it goes in your grocery cart, it's going to go in your home. And if it goes in your home, it's going to go on your belly.
And if it goes in your belly, it's going to land on your thighs.
Yeah. On your thighs. Right? So don't put it in your cart. I have so many great recipes and, sweet tooth cravings that are what we like to call macro friendly or flexible dieting friendly. And you can hashtag that FYI and you can come up with, or find a lot of really good recipes if you
FDF.
follow those hashtags. So for example, you said fruit roll-ups earlier and I was kind of thinking, I eat these fruit roll-ups that are by a brand called Bear, I think. I know there's a bear on it and there's Bear in the title.
Okay.
But they're real fruit and they're low in sugar for the most part. I want to say there's 8 grams, which isn't terrible. And they're only 13 grams of carbs.
Nice.
And there's 2 of them in the little package. I have such a sweet tooth for gummies. Not a
Me
big
too.
chocolate lover.
Me neither.
I don't like cheesecake. I'm not
I do
like a
love
big.
cheesecake.
I'm just
Okay.
not a big dessert
were-
fan.
we were
but
twinning.
I could have.
It only lasted so long.
Yeah. Well, I could have gummies all day long. I love them. And
too.
so when I came across this Bear brand on one of my Sunday strolls in the grocery store,
One of your quick stops to the
quick
grocery store.
stops, I was really excited to try it. And so I keep those in my pantry and kind of that's my go-to for when I have a sweet tooth and it's so guilt-free. And honestly, it tastes just like a fruit roll-up.
Yeah. When I was talking about beef jerky, my dad has done dehydrated fruit and he one year did fruit roll-ups. They didn't actually roll up, but he pureed the fruit and then poured it in this container thing that he was able to put in the dehydrator. It was still very good. It was gummy and fruity, and
Nice.
I like both of those things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, that's fantastic. So hopefully you listeners out there can keep eating delicious food.
Yeah, and stay
And-
motivated all
yes.
year with the magazine Fit 405.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you're always posting fantastic recipes and things like
Right.
that on your social media.
We are. We really are. We want people to know, especially like our readers, that health and fitness is not a one size fits all kind of thing.
Right.
It's tailored towards you. It's tailored towards your goals. And so my eating style and your eating style and your eating style can be completely different. And that's okay. So we just want to put food out there that tastes good, that isn't super terrible for you, but you can incorporate into your weekly meal plan. I know a lot of people meal plan. They may not necessarily count their calories, but they kind of write down their meals for their family or for themselves throughout the week. And whether it's drink recipes or a new place in Oklahoma City to try, we're always trying to put out content in the food realm for you all to try.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Have you had any success with any of the food delivery services that you feel like has a healthy option?
Food delivery service, like what do
Like
you mean?
HelloFresh or Home Chef? Like that's what I will use from time to time to really it helps save time on grocery shopping if you don't have that kind of time, but also it calorie counts everything for you, so you know exactly what you're getting with each meal, and it just makes it super easy. I was just wondering if you've tried any of those.
I have not, but I know of people that have, and they absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And I think it's doable, especially if you are counting, whether you're eating intuitively or whether you're counting your calories. I think, again, you can make anything work. But Oklahoma City also has some really great meal prep services. And
Ooh, what are those?
Well, for example, there is Fresh Eats by Sarah Van Ann.
Okay.
And she is another local foodie. She makes really great recipes and she will deliver them. So when you said delivery service, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah,
That works as well,
loves
yeah.
local.
Yes, her protein power bites are the jam. That's like her famous thing.
Really nice.
Yes, we had those actually at our launch party for the magazine, and they were a huge hit. It's peanut butter and honey rolled up with oats and just a whole bunch of magic deliciousness in one ball. And they freeze really well, and so you can pop them in there and then leave them out. And you know, like whenever some food is just slightly chilled, like a candy
it's
bar
so much
or a
better.
protein
Yeah.
bar,
Yes.
it's just so much better. Yeah, those, in my opinion, when they're slightly chilled, it's like, mwah, perfect.
Nice.
That's
awesome.
Ha! Jinx. Sarah Van Ann, you can find her on Instagram at FreshFit405. And I like that so much that it's a meal prep delivery and it's local.
Right.
Like that's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I am definitely going to
Especially if it's delicious.
Yeah, for
Sign me
sure.
up.
And, you know, I don't know if I'm looking at her Instagram right now. There's not a ton of posts, but maybe she's more on Facebook. But still, you can message her if you're interested, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll help.
For sure.
Yeah, she's great.
All right. So let's dive into the this or that segment.
Yeah, let's have a little fun.
Yeah.
Not that this wasn't fun.
Right. So we're going to change it up a little bit, and we're going to give two options. You can tell us your favorite place for it in Oklahoma City, or if you're trying to eat healthy or a little bit more health conscious, what to order to make it that way.
This will be such a fun game.
Let's do it.
Are you want to go first, Bill?
Sure.
All right.
Okay. So, pizza or pasta?
Pizza.
Okay. What's your favorite place in Oklahoma for it?
Hideaway.
Yeah. What's a good healthy option from Hideaway?
So here's the thing. Whenever
Here's the thing, y'all.
Whenever you're eating pizza, don't worry about it.
you know, whenever I went to Italy on my honeymoon and I had their pizza, it was just a legit plain pizza pie. And over here in America, we've like created this elegant, like crazy topping kind of meal, right? And I felt so bad, but I was like, this pizza's kind of boring.
Right.
When I was in Italy, because I'm so used to places like Empire
Right,
and
has all these
Pizzeria
amazing
Gusto.
toppings.
Right. So whenever I have my splurge meal, I don't think about good choices. I just think about, I want something that I haven't had in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and that's once a week, I have a splurge meal. Now, let's say it's, during the week and I want to have a pizza that is more on the healthier side.
Mm-hmm.
I might choose a cauliflower crust, or, if I'm making it at home, I can add tomato sauce versus like a pizza sauce or a tomato paste that has like a lot of sugar in it.
Right.
I can load up on protein. And honestly, Oklahoma, got to give props to this state. We might do a couple of things wrong, but we are doing something right in the nutrition world, because with our restaurants, you can go now to a bunch of places and you can order gluten-free items,
Absolutely,
vegetarian or vegan items. And actually, my husband and I just went and ate at Bira Pizza, which
so
is
good.
in Chisholm
Chisholm
Creek. And they have a cauliflower crust. They also have a vegan ice cream. So shout out to Bira. And I know Three Sisters Pizza, they have a cauliflower crust. So you can also, don't feel bad if you want something kind of customized.
Okay.
So if you're ordering, and this might not necessarily be pizza, or I guess it could be pizza, but if you're ordering something small and it's not going to really piss off the chef, if I can say that, ask for extra protein, or ask them to go easy on the cheese. You're going to get your fat from the cheese mostly, and also from the dough, but don't feel bad if you want to kind of customize your food.
Yeah.
I
think those are good tips.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Next, this or that, sushi or steak?
Steak.
Yeah.
I'm from Oklahoma. I am a meat and potatoes kind of girl. I love steak. And I guess I tell you now where I'd like to go.
Place.
Okay, well, we like Cattleman's.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
On a Friday night, the end of the week, if we're going on our date night, most likely my husband is just getting off of work. I'm kind of wrapping up for the day, and I'm wearing this, right? I'm wearing my yoga attire, or my yoga pants, and I don't feel like I'm in a super shishi place. I can go and I can get a good steak. I can get a lean steak if I would like, which is typically the choice I make. I usually get a filet or a T-bone.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of
All right.
what we like to do.
That sounds
Nice.
delicious.
Choose a
leaner
lean cut.
steak.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
And then maybe some greens for the sides versus a baked potato.
Yeah, I can.
Or maybe the baked potato.
Yeah, but then again, when you look at your plate, it's like you want to have a balance of fats, proteins, and carbs. And so I might, get a potato and only eat half of it. I think, not Oklahoma, but just America in general, our portion sizes are just out of control.
Right.
They give you this huge entree, and most of the time that's 2 meals for me. And so I take half of it to go.
Yeah.
So when I go to a restaurant, most of the time when I'm eating my protein, I eat anywhere from like 3 to 5 ounces at the most. And, you usually the smallest steak is like a 6-ounce steak, right?
Right.
So most of the time, if I get a steak and potato, I'm eating half of it anyways. And so I'm doing really well from a calorie standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's got to feel worth it, so they give you a lot more.
Right.
All right, this one might be tough to make healthy, but
I love
You
the
can do it.
challenge. I can do this.
cake.
Bring it on.
Or
What'd you
pie.
say? Cake or pie?
Yep.
Ooh. So that is a tough one as far as choosing. But I have a really good apple pie that is diabetic friendly.
Nice.
And nobody would ever know. My mother-in-law is diabetic, and she's also a chef. She studied at Le Cordon Bleu in Paris.
Ooh.
And so I, whenever we're out to eat or if we're cooking, I try to make, sugar-free options or sugar substitute options around her. But I have a really good diabetic-friendly apple pie that I absolutely love. And then as far as cake goes, if you don't mind me talking about cake
Yeah,
now.
no, of course.
Have you ever seen the recipes of cooking with Diet Coke?
No.
Okay.
I've heard of this.
So instead of like the oil and the egg and all of that, and I'll say this, I might be a quote foodie and enjoy eating from that foodie standpoint, but I'm not the best at understanding substitutions. Like, I don't know how the soda pop, the diet pop, and the cake mix works without the egg and the oil and all that, but it does.
And it's a Diet Coke?
Have you tried it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. It's absolutely amazing. And then whenever I am kind of prepping for a bodybuilding competition and my calories are lower than my normal eating is, I try to kind of get creative with different recipes. And this year for my husband's birthday, I made him a protein cake. And I've also made protein donuts using whey protein.
Oh.
It does not taste like
A donut?
But it tastes protein donuts. The ones that I made kind of tasted like a cake because of the consistency. It's like a flour almost. So
It's a cake donut.
it's a cake
Protein
donut.
cake donut. There you
Another
go.
thing that we've come up with in this podcast.
You know what I used to do? So this was years ago, and I was dieting before getting married. And my treat that I would make myself was green grapes, but I would make this like cream sauce to go on top of it with like the sugar-free vanilla syrup that you put in coffee mixed with fat-free cream cheese, I think.
Wow.
You mix that up so it was like low calorie and put that on grapes or strawberries. I
Yeah,
loved
like
that.
that is such a great snack. I love the sugar-free Jell-O puddings.
Oh, yeah.
I'll mix that with protein sometimes. Makes a great dipping sauce. Yeah, people, I think sometimes they just are not creative enough.
Right.
But that's where I come in.
Yeah. Yeah. The pudding, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Like that's a good option.
And whey proteins have come so far. Right now in my pantry, I still have a pumpkin spice protein.
Ooh.
And I just, So I have that. And then I have fudge brownie.
And mixing that with like coffee. Is that
You
good?
can do that. You could also, I've seen mocha proteins that blend really well with coffee.
nice.
There you go.
And then casein proteins versus isolate proteins are better to cook with. And so, in my cupboard or pantry, whatever you call it. Who calls it a cupboard anymore? In my
grandmother.
cupboard.
In my cupboard
I know.
on number 4 Privet Drive.
I don't even call it that. Like, why did that just pop in my head?
That's funny.
In my pantry, we have a few different proteins, and I have some that I cook with. I have some that, because they work really well for baking, and then I have some that are for my smoothies, and my
Okay.
husband has his because we, like different flavors.
Right.
But yeah, we all have different tastes,
Okay.
and so the protein world has done a really good job of giving that to us.
Right. All right. Next, this or that, burger or tacos?
Gosh, you guys give us such hard ones. Okay. I'm going to go with a taco because I said steak earlier.
Okay.
So I don't really eat out when it comes to tacos per se,
Tacos
like
are
a
such
taco
a good
stand.
thing to make at home.
Yes, and I have these Mama Lupe tortillas that are only 13 carbs. And for those that don't really look at nutrition facts a lot, tortillas have upwards of like 25 grams of carbs in
No,
them.
that's almost half.
Right. And so these Mama Lupe carbs, these Mama Lupe, it's the caffeine, I'm telling you, tortillas, they're so good. And then I'll mix it with the Trader Joe's green sriracha sauce.
Ooh,
which is,
yum.
Yes. Which
Green
is
sriracha sauce.
green sriracha sauce.
Is that even a
I think it's
thing?
called dragon sriracha, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're green.
I have
They're-
not had that.
I might have to check that out.
So
Me
I'll
too.
add that on top of my tacos, and I'll get a nice crock pot chicken going throughout the
Yeah.
day. We'll just put fajita mix and some fresh like pico that was chopped in the produce section. I'll throw all that in there, and it's ready when I get home.
That's perfect.
Nice.
That sounds delicious too.
Yeah. And the last option, salad or a wrap.
Well, I will go with salad since I just went with a taco. I'm telling you, these are hard because I love them all. I love food. So I love a good salad, whether I'm at a restaurant or I'm at home. One of my favorite salads in Oklahoma City is at Broadway 10, and it's called the spring chicken salad.
Okay.
Spring chicken.
Yes. And it's definitely more of like a fattier salad. When I say fattier,
got higher calories.
fat content, right? It's an oil. It has an oil base,
Okay.
vinaigrette. So, and it has a lot of nuts in it, but it's a chilled salad. I just, it's the best.
So
I love
good.
it. I love it, love it, love it.
So
So
make a note of that because I love a good salad for sure.
There you go.
Nice.
It's like you're taking a lot of notes this episode.
I am. Cookies, check. Salad, check.
Fruit roll-ups, check.
I'm telling you, if you, I try, we were talking about social media earlier too, and I try to document this stuff. My phone is like, sometimes it's my arch nemesis. I get sick of it. I'm like, can you just go in the corner? I want to forget about you because we do so much of our life on our phone. But I do try to document when I'm eating because people need to know that just because you are in the health and wellness industry doesn't mean you have to eat boring, bland food.
Right.
And so I post different things that I'm eating and where you can buy them. And a lot of it too is also made to order. So Trader Joe's has a really good fajita chicken that is in their, I don't know what it's called.
Like the deli area?
Sort of by the deli area and by the produce, where the bananas are.
Yeah.
It's right next, or where they do the taste testings.
Oh, yeah.
It's right next to there.
Taste testings. I know what that is.
check.
In the very back. And so they have a really good fajita, a chicken fajita that is already prepared. And it's probably like 3 servings. So it'll last you a couple of meals.
Yeah,
Right.
Nice.
That works. All right, so let's dive into our final segment of the episode, the kitchen sink. Are you ready for this?
Oh, yes. I'm excited.
All right, so we already know you enjoy cooking, but what is your favorite thing to cook at home?
I love to bake.
Yeah?
I love to bake pies. I love to like those protein donuts.
Mm-hmm.
I like how my food comes out when it's baked.
Okay.
So my green beans, I prefer them baked versus sauteed. And so, yeah, I just really love baking my food. Hobo packs. Have you ever had a hobo pack?
Mm-mm.
So a hobo pack is in aluminum foil. You put, like for one example would be chicken, green beans, and some potatoes.
Oh, where you put it in the foil?
Wrap it up in the foil. You season it. You can put like a lemon in there, and you pop it in. It's called a hobo pack.
Interesting. So like everything's it's like your own mini little crock pot.
Yeah,
it is.
I've heard it called something else because we did that. We would do that when we went camping and put it on the fire. And we would have like a hamburger patty and some vegetables and an onion slice or 2.
Right.
Wrap it in the foil and then throw it on the fire for a couple minutes. But I feel like we called it like camper packs or something like
Camper packs.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but hobo packs, I like that too.
Yeah.
I also like using my air fryer. We got an air fryer for Christmas a few years ago. And I mean, it is a game changer.
I want one so bad. That and an Instapot. No,
I don't have the Instapot. I'm limited on space. We live in a home that was built in 1939.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, counter space is the struggle.
Yeah, they didn't believe in counter space back then.
Right. So
they're like, we don't have that many gadgets.
Yeah,
exactly. So my blender and like my crock pot take up most of the
struggle.
The pantry, right? But I love cooking with the air fryer, especially my sweet potato fries.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll cut up a sweet potato, put some paprika and some pepper and salt, and drizzle just a little bit of oil. For oil substitutes, we also use spray butter or spray Pam.
Okay.
So for nonstick things.
Right. Cool.
And we've even done chicken parmesan in the air fryer.
Wow.
The air fryer is surprisingly good.
Now, was it like Gabriella's? No. If you've ever been to Gabriella's
Yes.
Italian, it's our favorite place. But
it gets the job done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So kind of back to what I was saying earlier, if it's a Wednesday night and you're like, hey, I'm craving some pasta or some chicken parmigiana, that's a great option instead of, hey, babe, let's go to Gabriella's.
Yeah.
You could definitely save a ton on your calories there.
Yeah.
That's the convenience of it is what draws me to it, but also with the Instapot. My sister, like, we were all cooking together and she came over and she got there a little late, and I'm like, oh gosh, you know, she still had this full meal, or what she was making. She was doing the chicken wonton tacos. And we were all like almost done cooking. And she's like, oh no, I brought the Instapot. It'll just take 10 minutes. And I'm like, have you cooked your chicken yet? And she's like, no, it'll literally take 10 minutes.
How small is your chicken cut up?
No, she put it in there 10 minutes and then ripped it apart with the fork and then put her sauce on it. Done.
It's impressive.
10 minutes.
You know, I feel like, I know this sounds so silly, but I feel like I have such a bond with my crock pot.
Right.
I've used it since I was like in college.
No, that's what I've always used.
And I feel like if I get this Instapot, my little crock pot will be like what's that movie? The Brave
burner?
Little Toaster with all the gadgets that haven't been used in years. So I'm like, Mr. Crockpot, I'm not going to do that to you. I'm fine with you cooking on low for 6 hours while I'm at work.
For 6 to 8 hours versus
6 to 8 minutes
versus a 10-minute process.
Builds patience.
That's funny.
What is the strangest thing that you've tried?
You know, I was telling my husband about this, and he's like, "That's not very strange." I took a couple bites of alligator.
Oh yeah, alligator's good. I like alligator.
Like I said, my palate isn't super crazy, and I'm sort of a picky eater. Mm-hmm. So for me, that was like, holy moly! I'm eating alligator.
I haven't tried alligator yet.
Haven't?
No.
I guess being from Houston and being in Louisiana so much, I've had alligator almost every way you can make it.
Oh wow!
Interesting.
Yeah, fried, grilled.
But isn't it interesting?
Balls.
Right? So isn't it funny how your palate is very, very much so based on where you're from?
Yes, absolutely.
And people, you know, have in the South were like, oh, frog legs.
Oh yeah,
right, yeah.
Calf fries.
Yep.
It's like
you're like
nothing,
what?
right? It's like nothing. But it's just a normal day in the neighborhood.
It's true. It is true. All right. What is your favorite snack food?
I have a really good spinach dip recipe that is fat-free and low carb. Mm-hmm. And I will dip it with these really yummy veggie crackers or like some celery. And I can just eat that up and it's like not guilt-free.
Mm-hmm. What's the base of the spinach dip?
Greek yogurt.
Okay.
There you go.
With
Greek
frozen spinach, lots of spices and dill.
Fresh
garlic. You know, you could put garlic on anything. I am like a dill fanatic.
Yeah.
I love dill.
I do too.
And so, I just put like a whole bunch of dill and a little bit of, Worcestershire sauce. Sometimes I'll use liquid aminos, which is a soy sauce substitute. Mm-hmm. So that's like my favorite snack food.
That sounds good.
Nice, yeah.
Really good.
Dill and yogurt combination is fantastic.
It's a win.
Yeah. What's your favorite food show or movie?
Food show or movie? What movies are made about food?
Julia
like Julia. Yeah. Okay, got you. Okay, I got it.
Ratatouille.
Okay. I haven't really seen some of these.
Chef.
Well, I suppose it would be the Rachel Ray show.
Okay.
It comes on after the Today Show, and if I'm working from home, like I do a lot of times, and it's on in the background, I'll sort of hear her voice pipe up, and she's just really funny and hysterical.
Yeah.
And
bubbly.
Yeah. Right. I actually, since we have Netflix, I really love some of the baking shows that they have.
Yeah.
They get pretty intense and they're really funny. You know, they just to hear the way someone can be super competitive with food. It's just so foreign to me. 'Cause, I mean, I'm competitive in other ways.
Right.
And so and then it just amazes me how like I'm over here, breaking my concentration and brain trying to like bake a cake, and they're doing it all from memory.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That I mean,
like,
I'm good at baking, but I'm definitely following a recipe. I cannot just wing it.
I know.
No, I can't. I wish I could. My sister can.
I can't.
Yeah. She'll be like, "You're measuring that?" Like, yeah, it says 1.5 cups. I'm not going to eyeball it, just pouring it in. Yeah, she does. She's very good at not measuring anything when it comes to baking.
Have you ever seen Amelia Bedelia, like in the
No.
books?
No?
So Amelia Bedelia she's just this really funny cartoon character illustration that
Like
I
a
grew
children's
up with.
book?
Uh-huh.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
I have heard of that.
There is this one book of hers where it's like her cooking episode, and it's like there's flour on the walls and there's just all these dishes and stuff in the sink, and that's kind of how my kitchen looks when I cook, but I try to kind of clean as I go. So I definitely am like a one-track person. If my husband's getting home late, I'll try to, he does follow his own kind of meal plan. And so I'm like, hey, can I get something started for you? So, you're not up super late cooking. And 9 times out of 10, I burn something because I'm multitasking. I'm like, why do I keep doing this? Why? Really every time.
All right, next question. What country or region do you think has the most intriguing food scene or culture that you're drawn to?
I'm really drawn to Brazilian food.
Ooh.
We went to Brazil about a year ago. And my best friend lives there, and she's Brazilian. And I love their flavor and how it's so south of the border as far as like the rice and the beans.
Right.
But it's the way that they cook it. They still use like pressure cookers for their beans.
Nice.
I mean, when was the last time you saw a pressure cooker?
Yeah.
Right?
So-
Yeah, Instapot.
Instapot, right?
Yeah.
So I think every culture has gadgets that were handed down to them. When we were in Italy, we took a pasta making class. And I don't know what
Nice.
it's called, but the thing that you roll the pasta in? It's like hooked up on your counter.
Yeah. I just call it a pasta machine.
Okay.
Nabil just got one.
Thought it had some fancy name. Okay, so the person that was, guiding us in this pasta making class, her pasta making machine was like handed down to her from her grandmother. And then, my best friend in Brazil, her pressure cooker was handed down to her from her mom. And so
It's like seasoned with all those.
Right.
And I feel like back then they made things to last.
they
Yeah.
did.
Like my mom has a food processor that the brand is Oscar, and she calls it her Oscar. My sister is now 33 years old. My mom bought it when she was a newborn baby and do all her baby food with whatever we had for dinner. She would put it in the food processor for my sister, and that thing still works today.
That's impressive.
They used to make these gadgets to last longer. Now, 2 or 3 years, time to replace it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I love Brazilian food. I love Brazilian hot dogs.
Ooh,
Really interesting.
What's in a Brazilian hot dog?
So they take the hot dog and they chop it up into, they just slice it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a pot with, it's a tomato-based sauce, and they'll add corn and a lot of kind of different vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll add the sliced hot dog. So
Interesting.
so it's like this red sauce with the sliced up hot dog
Mm-hmm.
and the vegetables, and then they'll put it in the bun, and then they put, what's it called? They're like, we have them here, but I don't ever eat them. They are skinny like Lay's chipsticks.
Like the
Kinda like-
shoestrings?
Like
Sort of like
potato sticks.
Potato sticks, yeah. Kind of like, on the French casserole, kind of like those.
Yeah.
They're crunchy.
Those are the
But
onions.
those are the French onions, right. Well, these are Lay's like potato stick things,
Yeah.
and they put that on top.
Interesting.
Right.
But
So,
that's good.
Just a little texture. Yeah.
yeah. So just the way that they kind of change things up,
Yeah.
I really love their cuisine.
Nice.
That sounds pretty delicious.
It does.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the way that they marinate their steaks. If you've ever been to a Brazilian steakhouse, they'll carve it,
Oh,
yeah.
right, and cut
Yeah.
it right at your table.
I guess here, Texas de Brazil, over by Penn Square Mall.
I think they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that there. I wasn't sure if there's another Brazilian place. Café do Brazil.
Yeah. But they're not a Brazilian steakhouse.
No, it's not a steakhouse. I think for the carving at your table, the only one I know of is Texas de Brazil.
Yeah, that's all I can think of as well
Yeah.
right now. All right. Possibly the most difficult question. What is your favorite restaurant in OKC?
Oh, wow. You're right. That is the most difficult question. Okay. Because I don't do favorites. I don't have a favorite band. I don't have a favorite food. I don't have a favorite this or that. One of my top choices in Oklahoma City is Goji Go.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good
I
one.
love Goji Go.
Goji Go's a good one. Yes.
They I get the same thing every time I go.
What do you get?
I build my own little bowl with the sticky rice and the chicken breast, with their house sauce, and my mouth is like salivating right now. It's so good. And their onions, their pickled onions. So I haven't had Goji Go in a while. It might be someplace I go this weekend for my
Nice.
splurge meal.
There you
Nice.
go. Yeah.
That sounds delicious.
Might stop by there on my way home now.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, this has all been so fantastic. Thank you so much, Erika, for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. I loved it. It was a great time.
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
coming on.
And where can listeners follow you and find all your fit food deliciousness?
So
Fit food
on
deliciousness.
yeah, fit food deliciousness. Great tagline. On Instagram, my personal account is Erika ERIKA_fitness_OKC. And then of course you could find Fit 405 Magazine at Fit 405 Magazine on
All right.
Instagram, and we're on Facebook as well.
Very cool. So be sure to follow Erika there and try to stay true to your New Year's resolutions.
You
with
got this.
the tips and tricks provided by Erika and her team. And be sure to follow us if you aren't already at OKC Foodcast on Facebook and Instagram. And if you'd like to collaborate or send in some listener feedback, we'd love to hear from you. And you can always message us on social media, or you can email us at okcfoodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. And if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening so you know when the next episode is out. It's surprise, it's weekly. and also share this podcast with a friend or a family member or a stranger and spread the food love of Oklahoma.
Yeah, absolutely. And until next time, friends, eat well and be happy. Bye.